He lifted her high in the air, he sniffed and roared and smelled her there.
Daenerys and her Cass build a funeral pyre for Khal Drogo, as is Dothraki custom. There is little wood in the land, so much of what they find is gnarled. Then they lay the logs in a square and fill the centre with brush, grass and bark shavings. Aggo and Rakaro kill a stallion from their now meagre herd, so that Drogo might have a mount in the afterlife. It is nowhere near as fine as Drogo's red, but there are few in the world that are. Mirri Maz Duur believes that Daenerys is attempting to use blood magic to resurrect her Khal, and insists that without the proper spells, the blood is nothing. The Magi even goes so far as to offer assistance in exchange for being released from her bonds, but Daenerys orders her silenced. On the platform, they pile Drogo's treasures, but Daenerys does not let the weapons she received as bride gifts be added, insisting that they are hers. Ser Jorah is wary of her intentions and pleads with her to let Drogo go and to come with him to see the wonders of the East. Daenerys assures him that she does not plan to sacrifice herself on her husband's pyre. When Ser Jorah calls her princess, Daenerys insists that he call her queen. Her brother, the king, is dead, and everything that was his is now hers. Once the pyre is completed, Daenerys gathers her people together, now fewer than 100, and declares that they will be her khalasar. Among the crowd, she sees slaves and declares them free. She announces that any among them are free to go, but that if they stay, they shall always have an honoured place among her khalasar. Daenerys turns to the 3 young warriors of her Cass and gives them each one of her bride gifts, naming them Co, and asking for their oaths as her blood riders. To Drogo she gives the silver-handed whip, to Aggo the double-curved black dragonbone bow, and to Rakaro the gold-chased arak. However, none of them are willing to take the oath. Drogo replies that this is not done, and it would shame him to be a woman's blood rider. Aggo states that only a man can lead a khalasar and name a Co, and Rakaro only promises to take her to Vaes Dothrak to join the Dosh Khaleen. Daenerys ignores the refusals. Finally, Daenerys turns to Ser Jorah and promises him a fine Valyrian steel blade when she comes into her birthright. Ser Jorah swears his fealty and heart to her, and Daenerys proclaims him the first of her Queensguard. Daenerys returns to her tent knowing the Dothraki think her mad and not sure that they are wrong. After a pleasingly steaming hot bath, she is dried and perfumed. Daenerys sends her handmaids away that she might prepare Drogo for his final journey. She thinks about how few Dothraki men die with their hair uncut as she washes him, braids his hair with bells, and dresses him in fine clothes and the worn vest he liked most. She finally asks him to forgive her, and declares that she paid the price, but it was too high. Then she dresses in fine clothes with a vest like Drogo's. The sun is setting when she calls them back to bear Drogo to the pyre. Daenerys orders oil poured over the pyre, and then orders her handmaidens to fetch her dragon eggs. Something in her voice makes them run. Ser Jorah protests that Drogo will have no need of dragon eggs, urging Daenerys to sell them and live as a wealthy woman for the rest of her days. Daenerys insists that the eggs were not given to her to sell. Daenerys climbs the pyre to place the black egg under Drogo's arm near his heart, the green beside his head, and the cream and gold one between his legs. Once the eggs are in place, Daenerys gives her love one last kiss. Climbing down, she notices Mirri Maz Duur watching her and hears the Magi call her mad. Daenerys only asks how far madness is from wisdom, and commands that Mirri Maz Duur be bound to the funeral pyre by Rakaro and Ser Jorah, who hesitates and protests. The woman does not scream or plead as she is bound. As she pours oil over the Magi's head, Daenerys thanks her for all she has taught her. Mirri Maz Duur promises that Daenerys will not hear her scream. Daenerys insists that she will, but that she only wants the Magi's life, echoing the woman's own words, "Only death can pay for life." This brings a flicker of what might be fear to the Magi's face for the first time. They wait for night to fall. It is Drogo that first notices the red comet, the first star of the evening. Daenerys sees this as a sign to light the pyre. Mirri Maz Duur sings in a high, ululating voice at first, but her voice becomes a wail as the flames engulf her and she soon falls silent. The Dothraki and Ser Jorah back away as the smoke grows thicker and the heat stronger, but Daenerys stands her ground. She is the blood of the dragon and undeterred by the fire. She knew the truth long ago, but the brazier was not hot enough. Then Daenerys begins to walk slowly towards the fire as sweat covers her body. She sees many images as she walks, trees, animals, and a great grey stallion. Seeing the horse, she tells Drogo to mount, and for a second she sees him mounted. He smiles at her and cracks a whip made of flame down upon the pyre, and Daenerys hears the crack of breaking stone as the pyre collapses, showering her with ash, cinders, and broken eggshell. Behind her, she can hear Dothraki and Ser Jorah shouting. As the pyre begins to collapse completely, Daenerys hears 2 more cracks like the first, and walks into the heart of the fire. When the fire dies, Ser Jorah finds Daenerys naked but alive and unburnt except for her hair, nursing 2 baby dragons with a third draped across her shoulders. The dragons match the colour of their eggs, cream and gold, green and bronze, and black and scarlet. Ser Jorah drops to his knees wordlessly. He is followed by Jogo, Aggo, and Rakaro, who declare her blood of their blood, and then her handmaidens and the rest of the Dothraki do the same. Daenerys knows that they are now hers, as they never were Drogo's. Daenerys rises, and for the first time in hundreds of years, the night comes alive with the music of dragons.
I demand a trial by combat.